But I think the point here, remember one of our keys at the top of the race, and look how hot this flat tire is off the 96 car. He'll get rid of that thing in a hurry. But I think one of the points, the fact, remember one of our keys, it's about handling. You don't hear a lot about aero here. Now, I think that front splitter that Jeff was talking about, I think that's a key element. But you know what? You can take the hood off, cut part of the fenders away, because right now these guys are just trying to win the battle to get back out on the racetrack.
Kurt Busch almost made it through there, and then a late hit into a stopped race car. Dick Bergman's with him.
Yeah, he's out of the care center, into street close. What happened to you out there?
You know, it's just things happen so fast. You don't know where to go, and the 10 car was on the inside spinning around, and he ricocheted back up into the group of us, and I had my front brakes all locked up. You know, these cars are real easy to lock up the left front. They're really hard on the tire, and it seems like you're either blowing it out in the right front or you're locking it up in the left front. Just had nowhere to go. It was just a tough break for the Miller Lite Dodge. 2 DNFs in a row aren't helping.
Indeed. Such a good team, such a good driver. These guys need a break. They deserve a break, Mike.
And, Mike, just remember, on our telemetry earlier, 135 miles an hour down that back straightaway. These cars weigh 3,400 pounds, and you're trying to stop it in 100 or 2 feet.
Getting ready to restart this race. They'll run a few laps under caution, and everybody will come to pit road. And, Steve, some concern on the part of the 10th place car.
There it is, Mike, in the 20 pit of Tony Stewart. They have an alternator problem. They've just, or when the red flag came out, rather, they told Tony, turn off all non-essential items on that race car, and their voltage meter is down to about 8.5.
So will it restart, Steve? That's the question.
They think it is. They just told Tony they think they're all right, but I guess we're all going to find out together here shortly.
Yeah, and we've been talking about how much brake you use. I'm sure one of the things they've had to probably flip off and on are the blowers that help pump cool air to those brakes. You don't want to cut them off. It may be, Darrell, that with 170 laps to go, they may have to change that battery out.
And that's why it's hard on the battery here and the alternator, because you run blowers on the brakes, you run blowers on the rear end, you run blowers on the tires. Probably got about 6 of those great big blowers blowing all the time, plus the cool box.
I was going to say blowers on the driver. You know which ones get cut off first.
Oh, yeah. Cut that one off on the driver. He'll be all right.
170 laps to go when they refire them here. Next Saturday night, NASCAR on Fox goes under the lights to a completely different racing experience.
This track may be called too tough to tame. It may be too rough to claim.
The Darlington Strike.
Faster's not better here.
Walking on a razor blade.
A lady in black, be nice to my driver, buddies.
I can't believe that thing lasted. Unbelievable. Man, never give up.
It's going to be one wild ride on a Saturday night.
Darlington, South Carolina. One of NASCAR's original racetracks. Wow.
There's something that I am going to be at awe, and I want to see. A car going 200 mile an hour on the straightaway at Darlington.
Now, so much history there.
That's
so much speed now with the new repaving.
That is just physically not possible. I didn't think.
It sounds like it will be. We've been talking about game plans. You see the 42 car there of Juan Pablo Montoya, led by Jimmy Elledge, making that game plan to try to get that car back out on the racetrack. Right now, he's 1 lap down.
Tonight's aerial coverage provided by Goodyear for track-tested technology. Get there on Goodyear Innovation. Lights are on the pace car, so we're just about to fire engines. The red flag is for cleanup in turn number 3. So much damage and fluid and bits and pieces spread down there. It was safest to stop the cars, clean it up. You hear the jet dryers working over in that area. And just as soon as they are done, we'll fire them up. Well, let's go. And somebody's going to need a new wing.
While we just talked to some crew chiefs, I want to mention one of my old buddy crew chiefs that a lot of guys here would think a lot of and love a lot of, Jake Elder, J.C. Elder. He's sick at home in the hospital, and I know he's probably watching the race tonight along with his daughter Sandy and him. Jake, buddy, you were the all-time greatest. You made my career. You made Dale's, Terry Labonte's, a number of us guys. Get well, man. Get out of there.
He educated a lot of crew members. I know I got an education from him back in 1983.
He was a special man, Larry. I mean, he did so much for a lot of young drivers back in the day.
There's Bobby Labonte in the Speed Racer Petty number 43. And I wonder if he has the M on his helmet like Speed Racer does. I know he has it on the hood. And that's a very special. There's the music. The movie comes out next week. Everybody watched the cartoon growing up as a kid.
I wonder what does that M on the hood stand for? I've never understood what that was for.
I should never ask. It is an M. And the illustrator, the cartoonist who created Speed Racer, was a big fan of Japanese actor Toshiro Mifune. He was like the John Wayne of Japan. Starred in The Seven Samurai, which was remade here as The Magnificent Seven. Starred in a movie that was remade here as Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood. And he was Jim Garner's team owner in the movie Grand Prix. And the illustrator was a great fan of Mifune and wanted to honor him, so he's on the hood of Speed Racer's car. Here's our animation of Speed Racer.
M looks the same. In case you missed our pre-race show, of course, Bobby Labonte has been in the news as far as his future in Sprint Cup Series racing. I think several weeks ago, Petty Enterprises offered him a lifetime contract. Bobby didn't necessarily jump on it. It was reported earlier today that Bobby had signed that contract, but he told Jeff Hammond, that Jeff mentioned in the pre-race, unless it comes out of my mouth, it's probably not true just yet.
But you know, Mike Joy scares me. I watch him on Barrett Jackson, and I'm telling you, he wears those poor guys' cars out. But I never knew he knew so much about so much trivia in my life.
And my wife says I spend too much time on the internet, and she's probably right. It was interesting.
Now we're watching Tony Stewart here. It looks like that car did crank. Steve Burns was talking about it was way down on voltage. So now the question will be, will they bring that car to pit road in an attempt maybe to change the battery on that 20
And
car?
I'm sure Norm Miller is breathing a sigh of relief, because, you know, that's interstate batteries, and I'm pretty sure Tony may have an interstate battery in his car.
We need to make note, it's not really a battery problem, it's an alternator problem. The battery is a sacrificial lamb.
Oh yeah, but if you got a battery in there that's a good one, she'll stay up for a while.
Time to pick our Allstate Good Hands driver of the night. Who do you think that should be?
Pick one.
How about pick two
one of those two on the screen.
Let's make it an 11.
Okay.
Let's make it an 11. It's going to be Denny Hamlin. Remember the wreck we had back on lap 221. Watch the 11 go through the smoke, Cole Trickle style, and emerge with the lead.
That's big right there. When you're all up in that ball of smoke, and you see the 6 car, I didn't realize, I knew somebody got some damage. 6, David Reagan got quite a bit of damage in that little deal there, the 38.
So Denny is our Allstate Good Hands driver tonight. Allstate, are you in good hands?
He hit the 38. The 6 did.
Now, if you remember 2 cautions ago, back on lap 206, all of our lead lap cars came to pit road. The last caution, we had about 12 cars that came to pit road, about 10 that stayed out. One that has come to pit road now that I think actually that was in the top 10 got a little bit of damage. Carl Edwards in that 99 car. What that is, that's called bear bond that they're putting on that left front. When you put it there, it's not going to move. Just trying to keep that left front fender in place.
All right, before they open pit road, let's check back with Jeff Hammond.
Mike, right quick, I want to show where the alternator is on this 20 car, located approximately here. This is what charges the battery. But in case they wind up having a problem, here's those blowers that Larry Mack and Darrell been talking about. They'll come back here. They'll take off the battery cover off that left rear tire. They'll jerk it loose just like that. They'll have another one standing by, slip it right back up in there, hook it back up. He'll have a brand new battery, should be able to continue and finish this race, even though he will give up a lot of valuable spots by coming down pit road and doing that.
Yeah, this is the 20 pitch. You can see the battery there, and everything has to happen perfect, even under a caution lap, to get that battery changed without going a lap down. Now pit road is open, so we'll see if we have any takers that comes to pit road. Looks like Kevin Harvick in the 29, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. So a lot of cars, Krista, that didn't pit the last caution, here they are, and here comes the 20 car.
And that does include Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's talking about his car still bouncing a little bit. In fact, he said, I just can't go. It's going to be 4 tires. Also, a track bar adjustment was the call for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Steve?
And Mike, Tony Stewart brings the number 20 onto pit road. You saw the shot of the battery being charged, but looks like now just 4 tires for Tony Stewart. Jeff Hammond talked about, now it looks like they are not going to change that battery, Mike.
Stewart's away.
If the car cranked, I mean, the battery's got to be pretty good if it'll crank.
And it would have been tough because the pace car was already going into turn 3 when they finished that pit stop.
So we're back underway at lap 233 in the Crown Royal presents the Dan Lowry 400.